All right, so it's been a long time since we had a chat, Alex.
Yes, lots of time has passed, so there'll be lots to discuss. I'm excited.
Right. So I don't know. Yeah, on my end, I don't know if I told you, but we received some good funding from Japan, and that's this background is the update of this Korea Structure Grant, and
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you very much. And we are looking forward to do some events, including summer school, and as we have discussed, this time I want you to invite to come to Japan and then be a part of this discussion group.
Thank you. That sounds
And
very
yeah,
exciting.
right. Speaking of that, I also joined this Oxford group last month. As you know, Johannes Kleiner and Sean Tao organized this category theory for consciousness workshop, and then yeah, they are also organizing this kind of summer school. Do you know about that?
So you're doing it together, or there will be two summer schools?
Um, at this moment, I don't think we are gonna combine. We are gonna do something separate, but potentially we might combine. I don't know. It's up to discussion. Their format is quite interesting. They go to mountain cabin, and then for 1 week they confine everybody, and then each day I think one or two speakers give a talk for 1 hour or 30 minutes, and then followed by discussion or something like that. And then they continue that for 7 days. What we are planning
and
is
the topic
is
go ahead. So the topic is mathematics of consciousness for this one, or categories theory specifically?
For them, I think it's mathematical approach in general. And their approach is in general, it's I don't know what the Bob Cook would say about this, but they are more interested in this, subset of the category theory called the process theory, using a particular kind of the category called the monoidal, symmetric monoidal category, that they use this, wiring and, changing this, shapes of the diagram, as you may know. Yeah. By the way, that conference was, in that sense, quite interesting. I've never had heard Bob Cook's talk. Have you?
Just what I got on YouTube.
Yeah, he's quite a nice guy, and we probably, thinking about quite related and interesting things. In fact, so just to talk about that as a sort of first part of this today's discussion, in terms of reflection of what we had. So, last week, April 15 to 16 April, we had it in Oxford. And then Bob gave the first keynote talk, and then Andre Ersman also gave a remote talk. And the second day, I gave a talk in the morning, and David Spivak, who is author of the category theory for scientists, and also introduction to advanced category theory. He gave an interesting talk as well. And then there is a program here. So it's like this. In the morning, so Bob gave a talk about language, and there I really like this quantum linguistic approach. And because of this, recent explosion of GPT-4 and also ChatGPT, there is I think, quite interesting explosion of this interest in consciousness, language, and also computation kind of ideas, right? I don't know what your thoughts are along this line of things. But
Yeah, for me, yeah, for me, I actually tend to I use it for the opposite effect, right? So my point is that ChatGPT does not convince anybody that it's conscious. And so to me, it's a refutation of functionalism. And therefore I find it interesting. So it seems to me that the debates about consciousness related to ChatGPT are more on the academic level, whereas most people, except for this one Google programmer, I find very few people that despite the fact that it tends to pass the Turing test, feel that they're dealing with a conscious mind. Now, it may be because ChatGPT is still not really passing the Turing test, but it may also be that the notion of, Giulio Tononi and Larissa Albantakis and these people that think that it takes more than just function and behavior to convince us that something is conscious, namely that something needs to have a similar structure, causal structure to us, for us to really believe it's. So is it interesting that there's a lot of people that believe that their pet, like a dog, is conscious, but their dog is far less convincing in passing the Turing test than ChatGPT. So there seems to be this notion, just because something is biologically similar to us, it's more likely that it's conscious. So that's what I see in this AI debate. So it's like the inverse, actually. I find that very interesting.
Yeah, it's, both of us have some kind of, in a sense, vested interest or bias towards, of course, this IIT kind of, ideas or structural, thinking about consciousness. So we are going there probably, but many people are also quite interested in functionalist kind of ideas, right? So I kind of also saw that in the debate and also discussion within this Oxford category theory consciousness. Many people, and I'm relatively new to this discussion about consciousness from the linguistic side or philosophical side of the attack, which has been happening really like almost like independently or in parallel with neuroscientific approach to consciousness, right? And I was reading recently some kind of review claiming that, for example, higher order theory of consciousness is, in a sense, a branch of that kind of thinking, rather than coming from the neuroscience or brain science origin. And that may be the reason why I really don't understand or get it, why we need to think about that way. But from a linguistic point of view, this kind of idea seems to be quite convincing. But anyway, so those people who think that consciousness or qualia are all determined or characterized by its relation to others, and in fact, in terms of causal relation or function to other mental processes, ChatGPT seems to be very convincing that they are already conscious. This is actually also, in a sense, interesting. I by the way, I also after this conference, I went to Germany, and then met with Lucia Meloni's group, and also Holger Leier, and also Sasha Fink group. And Sasha Fink and Holger Leier are the philosophers who are promoting this structuralism kind of ideas of consciousness. And their idea is quite different from what I'm thinking about in qualia, which is that the relationship is just sort of a necessary condition for us human, who we already kind of agree that we are already conscious, to have a similar kind of conscious experience.
Mm.
Whereas for some of the people, as long as you see the functional level kind of, equivalence or similarity between us and also ChatGPT, that may be already enough to consider ChatGPT are conscious.
What do you think now is when we say consciousness in all of these contexts, do you think that everybody's on the same page by what we mean by consciousness? In these
I'm not
debates?
sure. So what do you have in your mind?